Red flag moves out of the way. Watch the lights in your top left-hand corner. Miquel Pons starts from pole position. Can he wrap up the championship with a win here? It's another dynamite start from Pons from pole position. Garzo tries to go with him. Is he going to have the inside line into turn number one? He's going to look to lunge up the inside. The foot comes out and Garzo tries to squeeze through, but it's Pons that takes the whole shot here in Albacete.
Yeah, great start from Pons. We've seen it all year from him. And Garzo just having a look at the inside. It's going to be tight here. One line mainly through the first sections there. We see Circuito coming out pit lane. But let's focus on the battle for the leaders. Yeah, Pons going to keep it around the first real tight right-hander, flick it left, and then a short burst to left, and then down the back straight. But yeah, excellently done from Pons on the opening lap so far.
Strong start from Pons and a super start coming from Miquel Pons up into third place already, as is a strong start from Anapab Sarmoon as well. The pair of them coming through from rows number 3 and 2 of the grid to be there in third and fourth place. Meanwhile, the bunch of Italians that we thought were going to challenge in the form of Montoya, Zacconi and Marcon have gone backwards off the grid. So it's Pons that leads from Garzo, from Miquel Pons in a debut podium finish, and Anapab Sarmoon after a debut podium as well.
Yeah, not the start the two speed-up boys were on. So you can see in the green at the back of the leading group as they are splitting here from Zacconi as well. So not the best start from the number 61 rider. He was fourth on the grid. But Pons and Garzo getting a slight gap now on the chasing pack as we come down to complete the first lap already. And it's Pons leading the way as we see Brenner moving up the inside of, I think that is Montoya.
Here we are through the final corner, turn 14, the long sweeping right-hander. It eventually just closes up on you as they get onto the gas and blast past our commentary position. Pons that leads then, Sarmoon up into third now. Great start from him. This is a super performance coming from the tie rider. Meanwhile, at the front, as we guessed, it looks like Pons and Garzo are probably just going to start to chip away at the laps now, and you would imagine break clear of the guys behind them. The issue for Garzo is he has to stay with Pons, especially during these opening laps, because we know, as we've seen all year, just how good he is once we get into the final half of the race.
Yeah, you'd think he has to stay with him and try and get past him just to try and break up his rhythm, because Pons looking good already. Garzo not letting him go at the minute. But yeah, like you say, Jack, you're correct in saying that Pons' latter stage race pace is superior to the rest. So let's see if Garzo can make a move on him in these opening laps. 19 laps to go, there's a long way.
Here we are at turn 8, they'll then flick right for turn 9. Another sweeping right-hander before the hard on the brakes into turn number 10. This is a super important corner here, turn 10, to get the drive down. One of two back straights, really. This then leading down towards turn number 11, a fairly fast-flowing right-hander that we're into now. Pons looking good through this final part of the circuit. Will then go right once more for this little kink of turn number 12. Then on the brakes, it's the best passing opportunity on the circuit. The penultimate corner, turn 13. And then right once more for the final corner, turn 14. A super circuit is Albacete. We went round it yesterday, Elliot, and there's not many elevation changes, but it's fast, it's flowing, there's plenty of overtaking opportunities, and fingers crossed we're going to see plenty of overtaking here, because Garzo is staying with Pons at the moment, although he does look like he's pushing hard. The rear wheel trying its best to kick out on him there.
Yeah, he did. I thought he might be running wide there, but Pons got it. Stops, yeah, Albacete, first time we've been here, tight, twisty, technical, but yeah, like you say, very quick, and it's a great circuit, especially for these Moto2 riders. They can really wind it up down the two back straights. There's a lot of fast kinks, there's some good overtaking spots. Who's that, number 25?
That's Brenner that's gone down.
Brenner.
It was a super start for the Swiss rider. He was hoping to get inside the top 5 for only the second time in his career. Where's he gone down here at turn 13? Just on the outside. Oh, he's been taken out. Who's that that's gone down with him? Montoya as well. Well, we said on the grid we're hoping that he doesn't do exactly the same as what he did in Jerez 2 weeks ago, and he's done it again. He's taken another man out as a young Italian. This time, Miquel Pons, the unfortunate recipient.
Yeah, not good there from the two for Miquel Pons and, was it, not Marco Montoya, sorry.
Montoya again.
Yeah, starting from the front row, not what the number 55 would have wanted. And now you can see Garzo and Pons have got a clear gap to man in third place, Sarmoon. So it looks like it's just a race between these two at the moment, Jack, as they start to split here. But Garzo is not letting Pons go.
Well, Montoya's not going to be on many people's Christmas cards list in the European Moto2 Championship. You can now scratch Miquel Pons off that list that already has Matteo Ferrari and Miquel Pons scratched off of it as well. Not making many friends in the championship is Montoya. Meanwhile, back at the front, as you rightly say, these two have broken clear, but Hector Garzo is staying with Pons at the moment. He's glued to the rear wheel of the number 57. Meanwhile, in the podium fight behind, Sarmoon currently has about half a second to Tommaso Marcon behind him. The speed-up rider just closing in bit by bit. It was only a tenth of a second quicker that time around. Meanwhile, fastest lap of the race coming in from Hector Garzo behind. Incidentally, the lap record here is a 1:32.513, or should I say, was a 1:32.513, held by Tetsuta Nagashima from 2016. We can scratch that off because that's a brand new lap record coming in from Hector Garzo, 1:32.156, a good lap from the Spaniard in second.
Yeah, cracking lap from Garzo as he stays on the tailpipes of the number 57 and the championship leader. Garzo knows that he needs to beat Pons in this race to stand any chance of the championship continuing into race 2. So this is going to be a fight till the end as we come down the back straight once more out of turn 10 into turn 11.
And again, the rear wheel on Garzo, he doesn't half get it out of shape on some occasions, does Garzo. Garzo, incidentally, riding a Tech 2 Moto2 machine. Oh, a bit of a bobble from Garzo then. I'm not sure if the front just tried to fold on him. He ran ever so slightly wide out of turn 13 there, and as a result, he's just lost a couple of bike lengths on Hector Garzo, on Edgar Pons in the lead of the race. Bit of a moment for Garzo, but heads back down beneath the bubble, and he's back to it, trying to stay with Edgar Pons at the front of the race. Yeah,
he's pushing, isn't he, Garzo, trying to stay with Pons. Incidentally, on that lap, Pons was a little bit quicker, and these two at the front were a good second quicker than your man in third place, Sarmoon, so they are breaking clear now. As you can see, 3.1 back to the man in third place as Sarmoon and Marcon have a good scrap for the final position on the podium. But Pons looking on rails at the minute, Jack. Garzo needs to stick with him, like we keep saying, just needs to keep putting him under pressure, else if Pons edges it out to half a second or a second, he's going to start pulling away. As we've mentioned numerous times already, that latter race pace for Pons is far superior. As we see the number 10 of Marcon under the 50. Nice move from the speed-up rider.
There he goes, up the inside of Anapab Sarmoon. For third place goes Tommaso Marcon. Eyeing another podium finishes. The Italian has already got 2 in the bank so far this year, and he's eyeing another third place finish. But Sarmoon will have other questions to ask him, I'm sure, as they come down the back straight now. Sarmoon just tucked in behind the Italian. He's just sat up there a little bit early. I'm not sure if he wanted to try and make a move there. Again, just looks not that comfortable as they flicked right through turn number 11. Hard on the brakes now for turn 13. No way through here for Sarmoon, but he is hopefully going to stay with Marcon in this battle for third place.
Sarmoon backing it in there at turn 11. Cracking riding style from the number 50. Can he get the run down the straight? Looks behind, not sure why. He's in the slipstream. He's going to make a move into turn 1. What's the gap at the front? Just checking, 0.3 now between Garzo and Pons. So it's hovering just under half a second. That's all right for Garzo at the moment. No pass for Sarmoon into turn 1. We've got 15 laps to go, so still a long way in this podium battle and the battle at the front.
Meanwhile, I can't discount in 5th and 6th place behind Alessandro Zacconi and Miquel Pons as well. On that last lap, they were only within a tenth of a second of 3rd and 4th place Marcon and Sarmoon ahead of them, so they're certainly not out of the hunt for a podium finish just yet. Meanwhile, at the front of the race, it's Pons that still leads, now 0.3 of a second clear of Hector Garzo. That advantage is as big as we've seen it so far in this race. And as you can see on that last lap, Pons was just able to eke out a tenth of a second, and he's certainly looking like he's faster than Garzo this time around as well. Is this the break for not only the race win, but the championship as well in this early stage?
Yeah, 10th might not seem a lot, but if it's 10th every lap, it's going to edge and edge clearer and get up to that second mark. And already we can see the gap looks to be a little bit more than 0.3. I reckon that's about 0.5 now as the team watch on as Pons comes into, backing it in nicely. There is Pons into the left-hander before the Parabolica-esque right-hander onto the start-finish straight. That gap is visibly bigger on this lap. Not sure if Garzo has made a mistake in that last sector or not. Didn't quite see it. Let's see what the gap is.
Well, the elastic is at breaking point now between the two. The slipstream effect, although minimal here at Albacete, because there's not that many long straights, is certainly just starting to get out of reach for Hector Garzo. As they came across the line, it was just under 3/4 of a second. Pons was far quicker, 0.3 of a second incidentally quicker than Garzo behind him, and that's the biggest point. Even at this early stage, Pons is still within 0.3 of a second of his fastest lap, whereas Garzo is already 0.6 of a second slower than what we saw in the opening stages. Pons is just able to chip away lap after lap. He's got such consistency, and it looks as though he's breaking Hector Garzo with only 6 laps completed.
Yeah, that consistency is visible to see here, and that's the key. Pretty much what's been his championship year, and if he keeps it up for this race, he's going to be crowned the 2019 champion. If Garzo can't stay with him, which it's not looking like at the minute. He's not dropping him too much, but like we've mentioned, it's now over half a second, so it's going to get tricky for Garzo as the battle for the final podium spot's heating up.
Tyre wear definitely will be crucial here at Albacete though. As you can see, during the first 6 laps, they spend so much time on the side of the tyre, where it is left or right. Certainly the Moto2 guys that I was speaking to yesterday say that really, as we get into the final 5 laps of the race, that is where it's going to be won, because a lot of guys, even if they make the break early, will quickly run into some tyre difficulty. So just because Pons, as he comes across the line, now over a second clear of Garzo, it doesn't mean that this race is over and done with. We've still 13 laps to go. We may well see for the first time this year that actually Pons starts to struggle in the latter stages of the race, and Garzo's able to reel him in. To be perfectly frank, I can't see that happening, but so we have a decent race. It may well happen. We cannot discount Garzo just yet.
No, 100%. We cannot discount anything yet. And who knows, Garzo might just be backing off slightly, but here is where the real battle lies. For 3rd place, it's Marcon leading Sarmoon, Zacconi, and Miquel Pons, number 77 rider there. He started from the rear of the row 3.
It's a proper fight, this. A real 8-wheeler for 3rd place. Marcon, as you rightly say, Elliot, currently leading it, but in your back of your picture as well, Kevin Kubo pulling a big wheelie out of turn number 6. I think he's fancying his chances here as well. We'll keep an eye on his lap times, because last time around, how far adrift was he? He was only, well,
Zacconi there, that's a brave move.
Yeah, good.
Not quite.
Look up the inside from Zacconi, no way through. He has another look up the inside, but Sarmoon holds strong once more. This is a proper scrap for 3rd place.
It is. Zacconi was only, well, he's less than a 10th off pole position, so I was expecting him to have a little bit more of a say in the battle for the race win, but he didn't get a good start. He dropped off the 2 guys in front of him now, but he's caught them up quite quickly, and he's looking like he wants to get through. So let's see if he can do it. The number 61 rider, 3rd in the group, as they come round the final corner onto the front straight. Oh, that was a little bit of a moment for Sarmoon there on the front end. Is that going to allow Zacconi to get the slipstream? I don't think he's quite close enough this round, but Miquel Pons might be. Is he going to have a look? I think he is, and underneath the 61 goes the 77. A great move there from the Spaniard.
There goes Pons up to 5th place now, Just starting to chip his way through the field is Miquel Pons, and he's almost immediately latched himself onto the rear wheel of Anapab Sarmoon, who himself was just showing his front wheel to Tommaso Marcon as they flicked right there. Now they'll go left through turns number 5 and then through turn 6 as well before we go down one of the 2 back straights. Bit wide was Sarmoon there. He's lost a drive opportunity now for Miquel Pons to possibly look to go through on the inside, but if you're going to make a move at turn 7, it is a brave move. That is a fast left-hander, especially for these Moto2 boys, so no way through. Marcon just edging a little bit further clear as a result of that slight bobble from Sarmoon through turn 6, but
here comes Zacconi again, same move.
That was
made it stick that time.
Big lunge up the inside, but here comes Pons. He's going to fight back once more. Oh, it's heating up here in the battle for 3rd place. Miquel Pons bites straight back up the inside of Zacconi to retake 5th away. And here comes Sarmoon now again, just edging to the right of Marcon, but no way through. Got 12 laps remaining here, plenty of time for these 2 to scrap it out. Into turn 13, no move's been thrown in by any of these riders in this fight for the final podium place. There goes Pons through past our commentary position, now 1.5 seconds clear of Hector Garzo. Incidentally, Garzo was just marginally quicker on that lap, less than a 10th of a second, but he was the fastest man on track that time around. Here comes this battle for 3rd place. Sarmoon again looking up the inside, but no way through into turn 1.
Yeah, when Pons made that move back past Zacconi on the last lap at turn 10, he said, stick behind me, let's go and overtake these 2 in the battle for the podium. So we'll wait and see if the 61 will listen to the rider in front of him. I doubt he will, because this is Moto2 and it's racing. But let's just see if they can get the best of Marcon and Simon ahead of him. And yeah, like you say, the gap coming down ever so slightly, but less than 10th isn't going to be quite enough so far for Garzo, but it's still only 1.5 seconds, so he's not letting this race go as of yet.
And again, Sarmoon was just ever so slightly wide on the exit out of turn 6 there. Miquel Pons behind him was able to hold a much tighter line. And as you can see, Marcon is just able to pull out 2 or 3 bike lengths out of turn 6, and as they then flick through turn 7, which is just meaning he can hold them off through this second half of the lap now.
Yeah, coming into turn 10 then, Marcon looking a little bit comfortable in third place at the minute. As Sarmoon, yeah, like you say, getting it squirrely every lap here. Every time we turn to him, he's getting it out of shape. Watch him back into this turn 10, the rear will step out. There it is. As we focus in on the number 10 of Marcon, and another good ride for the number 10 rider, like we mentioned on the grid. He's had a very solid season. Points in every race, 2 podiums, and he's looking like he's going to battle for the third one as well, as we focus now on your race leader and the championship leader, Miquel Pons. What's the gap? It's risen again to 1.7. So another couple of attempts eked out there for that man on your screen.
Well, he's responded on that lap. He was a quarter of a second quicker than Hector Garzo. Behind him was Edgar Pons. As you can see there, a 132.7 compared to the 132.9 from Hector Garzo. Compare that to the early race pace, the 132.1 that Garzo and Pons both set. The pair of them separated their fastest laps by just 0.02 of a second. Garzo's slightly quicker, which means that he's got the new lap record, but at the moment it's looking like this race win and the championship is just starting to slip away from the number 4. Meanwhile, in that fight for third place behind, the 8-wheeler is still continuing, but it could well become a 10-wheeler very shortly, because Daniel Kazmiadin has got himself in front of Kemin Tkuba for 7th place now. He's only 1.7 seconds adrift, and incidentally, he was 0.4 of a second quicker than the guys in front of him last time around. So Kazmiadin is a man on the move, and he's eyeing himself another podium finish. Meanwhile, that is your live championship pictures. 58 points his advantage is enough for him to be crowned the European Moto2 Championship as things stand at half race distance, but still plenty that can happen with 10 laps remaining. Wait to get Edgar Pons over the finish line, having taken the checkered flag, before we start to say he is the champion for 2019. Yeah,
and incidentally on that graphic, it also saw Marcon moving up to third place in the championship, with the third position he's currently occupying 0.3 ahead of Sarmoon as they whiz past our commentary system. Here they are, and Miquel Pons is now up behind Marcon. So Sarmoon has dropped down to behind Zacconi as well, so maybe there was a mistake there from the number 10. There's the 61 and 77 have passed him, and now Miquel Pons is hounding third place man Tommaso Marcon on the green speed-up machine.
Pons already has a podium finish to his name in Aragon this year at the first of 2 races at Motorland Aragon in slightly damp conditions, but this will be a first dry podium of the year for Miquel Pons. No relation, incidentally, to Edgar Pons at the front of the race. But he's now looking all over the rear wheel of Tommaso Marcon, the speed-up machine ahead of him. Pons himself running the Kalex, as is the man behind him, Alessandro Zacconi, as is the man behind him, Anapab Sarmoon. Kalex, who have, of course, absolutely dominated the World Moto2 Championship this year as well. But it's good to see in the European Moto2 Championship that a couple of the other chassis manufacturers are getting in on the mix, as Pons was over onto the dirty stuff there, kicking up a big puff of dust. And unsurprisingly, as a result, he gets himself a track limits warning as well. I think we all know he was over track limits there with the dust kicking up, but didn't affect his speed whatsoever, because he's still there, latched onto the rear wheel of Marcon, and if he can get a good run out of this final corner here on the curb on the inside, pushing hard is the 77. Is he going to pull out the slipstream here and try and make a move into turn number 1, Miquel Pons? Here he comes, looking up the inside, the right leg comes out, the rear wheel kicks out, and there he goes, moves through into third place, and it's now Pons that holds that final podium position.
Yeah, very classy move there from the number 77. I think he was right to say to Zacconi, stick behind me, mate, I've got the pace, let's go get him. And now it's Zacconi's turn to try and have a look at the number 10, but not quite at the tight turn 4. Here we have a replay of Pons running it slightly out wide onto the dust.
Well, big shake. You can see the rear wheel just shaking him from left to right, and he's quickly got down to work here. Oh, a bit of a mistake from Marcon, and here comes Zacconi up the inside to now take 4th place. So Marcon is having a disastrous lap here. He started in third place, and he's now been bullied back to 5th. But it was an important move from Zacconi because Pons has just broken ever so slightly clear from this 8-wheeler as he tries to grab himself a second podium finish of 2019.
Yeah, he's looking good here, isn't he? Pons, and Zacconi's followed him through now eventually. 7.5 laps to go. Is he going to keep it on the tarmac this time around? He is. Not any troubles for the number 77 as now the 61 of Zacconi aims to try and challenge that final podium position. But Sarmoon and Marcon aren't done yet. Let's see if they can keep the pace up for the podium challenge as we see Pons whiz by and Garzo whiz by. What's the gap now? 2.2 at the front. So what was the last lap? The last lap was similar, but Pons knows now that he's got a comfortable 2-second margin to the man in second. So maybe he's just not taking any risks, and rightly so, as we see Pons backing it in again. He's looking good here, isn't he? The number 77.
He is now 0.6 of a second clear of Zacconi, Marcon and Sarmoon behind him. So with now 7 laps remaining, it looks like this is the move coming in from Miquel Pons to secure and put a nice little bow tie on a second podium finish of 2019. Meanwhile, this man right here, your race leader, Edgar Pons, is chipping away lap after lap. He's edging ever closer to a second European Moto2 title. He's just watching his pit board at the moment, 2.2 seconds clear. He doesn't look to be in any danger whatsoever, but one mistake and Garzo will be able to close in onto the rear wheel of the number 57 and spark the championship back into life. But even if he does make a mistake in this one and Garzo is able to get in front of him, the manner in which the championship is set, it looks like if he doesn't do it in race 1, he will get it sewn up in race number 2 later on today. It will take a total disaster for him not to be crowned champion today, but I've probably put the curse on it.
Yeah, let's hope you haven't for Pons' sake, Jack, but he is looking again like we've seen all season in supreme form, untouchable, whizzes by the team giving a thumbs up, gap comfortable. What is it now as Garzo across the line? 2.7, edging towards that 3-second mark, so nothing silly needed now for Pons. Garzo was half a second slower on that lap.
Meanwhile,
well.
There's this fight for 3rd place. Pons still sat there, but has been reeled in by 0.2 of a second on that lap, so it's not all said and done in this fight for 3rd. Miquel Pons currently leading it, but Zacconi and Marcon were able to just reel him in ever so slightly on that last lap. This is definitely going to go right down to the wire here. Pons is pushing hard, as is Zacconi as well. They all want to taste the champagne here in Albacete.
Yeah, I thought Pons, if he got to the front of this group, he might start breaking clear, but that hasn't been the case. Zacconi isn't letting him go, Marcon isn't letting Zacconi go, and the number 50 at the back of your screen, Sarmoon, isn't letting the trio go either, so this is going to go right down to the wire as we flick it left with a fast kink at the end of the first back straight and into turn 8, sorry. A little bit wide there from Marcon.
Good stuff coming in here from Zacconi, though, the number 61. He's just chipping away here, and he's pretty strong in this final sector as well as Zacconi. Let's see what we can do out of turn 10 now. We're into the final sector. We're down the back straight. Again, a little bit of dust just kicking up. I don't think anybody was too wide. Certainly nowhere near how wide Miquel Pons was a couple of laps ago. Through turn number 11 now. This is turn 12, the left kink. Then on the brakes, they'll go left for turn 13, before then flicking it into the long final corner of turn 14. Pons just tries to get up on the curb on the inside there as he asks for the power to drive it past our commentary position just there. 77 now under half a second ahead of Zacconi. He's just holding that gap there. The pair were, well, separated by just 100th of a second that time around. And if they can continue with that sort of pace in these final 5 laps, this final podium place will go the way of Miquel Pons. Meanwhile, this is a pretty hot battle for 7th as well. Currently held by the 27 of Daniel Kazmiadin. He's got Kevin Kubo for company. And the number 9, he's got Matthias Magel on his rear wheel as well. So these guys fighting out for 7th, 8th and 9th place.
Yeah, Kubo in a Dynavolt sandwich at the minute as the 27 and 21 look to break clear of the number 9. But like we said for teammate Sarmoon, both riders doing a sterling job in their debut seasons in the Moto2 European Championship. Best of P5 for Kubo, so it didn't look like he's going to replicate that this time around, but nevertheless, a very solid ride.
part of a young bunch of Thai riders that really are coming on leaps and bounds over the past couple of years. Spearheaded by Somkiat Chantra in the Moto2 World Championship, who was super strong in Buriram at his home round just a week ago. And looks like he could be a real contender next year for regular top 10 and maybe even top 5 finishes. Meanwhile, in this class, another set of thumbs up going the way of Edgar Pons. Now 3.7 seconds clear. Just 4 laps remaining. 14 kilometres left for him to overcome before he will officially be crowned your 2019 European Moto2 champion. Meanwhile, this is the battle for 3rd place. Pons still holding half a second over Zacconi and Marcon in 4th and 5th. Some good riding here from Miquel Pons because he's under a load of pressure. He will be watching his pit board, seeing that the gap is staying stagnant, and they're hoping to keep it that way over this final handful of laps. But the Italian duo of Zacconi and Marcon pushing real hard now to see if they can reel him in and try and make a move on these final laps to steal 3rd place away from him.
Yeah, the trio have just dropped Sarmoon. He was a good half second slower than them on that final lap, with the 3 pretty much setting identical lap times. But yeah, this race and championship has all been about this man so far, Miquel Pons, as the team look on. Hopeful the last 3 1/4 laps stays the way the rest of the race has been for the Spaniard. No silly mistakes, just got to bring it home now for his 2nd European Moto2 championship. Onto the straight he comes, ticks off another lap with 3 to go.
Was pretty relaxed this morning at breakfast, was Edgar Pons, just tucking into an avocado and toast. Very healthy and athlete's diet, unlike our breakfast. But yeah, didn't seem phased whatsoever, no nerves whatsoever, although he never looks phased as Edgar Pons.
No, he doesn't.
He's such a calm and collected character. He's that laid back, he's almost sideways as Edgar Pons. He's such a cool character. He's Pons from Barcelona, just gets on with his work without any real fuss whatsoever. And he's been in imperious form this year. 5 wins to his name so far. Unbeaten in dry conditions, and he's looking like extending that run to a 6th win in dry conditions and a 6th win of the championship as well. He's pretty much been in a league of his own. When it has been dry, I don't think he's really been in a fight all year. Nobody's been able to get close to him. Every race victory has been well over 3 seconds. He's just chipped away lap after lap, and nobody has been able to live with him, and it's the exact same story here in Albacete again.
Yeah, we've seen this, like you say, all season. A couple of the first, let's say, quarter of the race, Garzo or whoever it was in second has been able to stay with him, but he just keeps that pace up. Consistency has been key to this championship, and Pons just edges clear of his competitors as the laps tick by. And as the laps tick by in this race, 2 laps to go before this man is crowned your 2019 champion, barring any disaster. The race has passed our commentary box. There's Garzo. Nothing much he can do now but watch Edgar Pons race clear. What's the battle for the final podium looking like? I think half a second covering the top 3. We'll wait for them to come across the line. Here they are. Pons a little bit of advantage on the number 10, but here's Zacconi. Is he going to make a move on Marcon? I think Marcon's got past Zacconi actually on that lap.
He has. Marcon now back up into 4th place, but Zacconi is having a look up the inside there to try to steal that back away from him. So Marcon clearly feels that he's got the pace to be able to pull him in these final 2 laps now. The gap is still half a second, 0.4 of a second to be precise. Big look up the inside from Zacconi again. He does love a good lunge.
Really does.
Alessandro Zacconi. Always showing his front wheel to the man in front of him. Meanwhile, Marcon, he's doing a good job though. He's just ever so slightly been able to chip away at Pons here. Is Miquel Pons in these final laps going to lose out on P3? He's possibly looking that way. He's certainly going to have a fight on his hands in the final lap. Again, Zacconi looking up the inside, but no way through there for the young Italian. But so far, so good for Miquel Pons. He's just holding 2 or 3 bike lengths advantage, which will be enough on the final lap to hold off any lunges coming in from the guys behind him. As again, Zacconi looks up the inside, no way through, but Marcon runs wide. This is going to be an opportunity now as he winds it up down the back straight for the penultimate time. No way through at turn number 11 though.
I think we'll turn 13, this turn here will be the decider in the race. That's going to come down to the wire as we start our last lap, and it's the last lap for Edgar Pons. Is he well on his way? Yes, he is, to the 2019 European Championship if he can just keep it steady on this final lap. There's no pressure from Garzo. The team have told him, you've got enough time, mate, chill out, enjoy this last lap. Nothing silly for the 57. What's the gap like in the battle for third? Pons still holding it from...
So Pons,
what have I just seen?
Into turn number 6 here. There's a time penalty going the way of Aaron Polanco further down the field in 20 seconds, but that's not going to affect the order at the top, because here is Edgar Pons halfway through this final lap on his way to a second European Moto2 crown. He has been imperious all year. And this race here in Albacete, well, it's followed the script of every other dry race we've seen in the championship so far in 2019. He starts from pole position, he gets the whole shot, and then he pulls clear. He has been in a league of his own as the number 57. Nobody's been able to live with him throughout the year, and it's the same here in Albacete. Superb stuff from the 57. Meanwhile, in the fight for third place, Pons still holding on, it seems, ahead of Marcon and Zacconi, so it looks like it's going to be a second podium finish for him. Garzo will, unfortunately for him, have to settle for second place for a 5th time this season. Behind this man, here he comes out of the final corner. Stand and deliver once more. Your 2019 European Moto2 champion. Take a bow, Edgar Pons, a sensational 6th win of the season, a stoppie over the line to celebrate as well. He has been unstoppable in 2019, and he wraps up a second title. Meanwhile, over the line, Miquel Pons steals third place. Another podium for him, a first in dry conditions in 2019. A great ride coming in from the 77 with Marcon and Zacconi rounding out the top 5. Certainly, Anupam Sarmoon deserves a mention as well in 6th place. One of his better rides of 2019. But the championship celebrations can commence now. The gold helmet is there, the t-shirts with the number 1 on them. I'm sure they were made about 4 weeks ago. It's never been in doubt. And now, the 2019 champion joins the likes of Jordi Torres and Jesko Raffin as a 2-time European Moto2 champion. The last time he won it in 2015, he went on to have 2 years in a World Championship. It didn't go to plan for the talented Spaniard. We'll be hoping that this time round, if an opportunity comes his way, he can make the most of it. His girlfriend to the left puts the t-shirt on with the number 1 emblazoned across it. Hopefully Edgar Pons does get another opportunity in the World Championship. He's certainly matured a lot from those 2 years in 2016 and 2017. When he was in the World Championship, he is a different man now, a different character, and I'm sure the results would be a lot different as well. Meanwhile, here are the final results. As we know, Pons taking the victory ahead of Garzo and Miquel Pons. Top 10 rounded out there by Ramdan Rosley. Final finishers, Peter Biesakowski, Andy Farid, Jerry Salim, Yari Monteiro eventually rejoined after that earlier incident with Marcel Brenner. Sam Wilford, the wild card, making his way across from the British Championship, the British Supersport Championship, which incidentally has just been wrapped up by Jack Kennedy. So he's come across from that series for a couple of wildcard rounds, was in Jerez as well. And will be next in action in a week's time, I believe.
Brands Hatch, yeah.
The season finale for the British Superbikes there. So this is how the championship looks then. With Edgar Pons now securing the title. 58 points clear with just 50 points up for grabs. Garzo, it's not settled for him, second place in the championship, but take a disaster for him to lose out on second place to the likes of Marcon and Zacconi behind, who are now only separated by 2 points in that fight for the final podium places. Anupam Sarmoon moves up the order to top 10, thanks to that ride to 6th place with Kevin Kubo, Matteo Ferrari. Adam Norridin, who's not here this weekend, he's been doing a couple of rides in the World Championship with the Trona Sprinter Racing crew. Final points down the order, Matteo Ciprietti there, who just missed out on a couple of points after starting in pit lane in that one. And Julian Meyer, Peter Pavalainen, Takeshi Ishizuka and Alex Ruiz, all there having picked up points throughout 2019 as well. P3 going the way of Miquel Pons. Trophy handed over by Raquel Ruiz, part of the tourism department here in Albacete. Only a second podium of the year and the first in dry conditions for Pons. He had to work hard for it as well. Second place going the way of Hector Garzo, Vice President of FIM Europe, handing over the P2 award to Garzo. And now the race win going the way of Edgar Pons, a sixth of the year. Amparo Torres hands over the P1 trophy. He lifts it high into the sky as he dons the 2019 champion Dunlop cap as well.